Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. We are looking at a massive professional paradigm shift hitting us right now in 2026. The rules of the game, they've completely changed. And I mean both what intelligent systems we're building and where we're legally allowed to build them from. If you're a technical professional or a business leader, this dual shift is literally going to redefine your career and your company's liabilities this year.
So to make sure you thrive, we've got a packed roadmap today. We'll quickly cover the 2026 engineering shift, context, RAG and agents, and scaling AI. Then we'll pivot to the operational side, the remote work tax trap, interstate tax rules, and wrap it all up with your 2026 survival roadmap.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the 2026 engineering shift. Think about how things used to be. Traditional engineering was highly deterministic, right? You wrote rigid, rule-based logic, and you got a perfectly predictable output every single time. It was like clockwork. But AI-driven engineering, it's an entirely different beast. It's probabilistic. You're no longer just writing code for an AI. You're building with AI as this dynamic computation layer that actually reasons with live data. You aren't just tweaking prompts anymore. You're architecting highly adaptive systems.
And to really master these probabilistic systems, we need to dive into Section 2, context, RAG, and agents. Without situational awareness, an AI model is essentially a brilliant intern who has zero access to your company's files. Imagine you tell your AI to book a hotel in Paris. Well, without context, it might confidently book you a room in Paris, Kentucky, instead of France. Why? Because it doesn't know your budget, your travel history, or your intent. Context engineering is the absolute foundation of fixing this.
So how do we solve that context problem? Enter RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation. Look, large language models are incredible at reasoning, but their fatal flaw is they only know their past training data. RAG is a total game changer because it connects your model to a live source of truth. It essentially ends the era of AI just blindly hallucinating facts by grounding its reasoning in real-time, up-to-date data.
And once you have that context, you have the foundation for AI agents. We are way past the days of passive chatbots. Now, we're talking about autonomous systems operating on a continuous three-step loop. They perceive data from their environment, they plan a sequence of reasoning steps, and then they take autonomous action across APIs. They don't just chat, they search, they code, they schedule, they do actual tangible work for you.
But how do you actually know if these autonomous agents are doing it right? Let's hit Section 3, Evaluation and Scaling AI. If you're pulling your hair out trying to test these new tools, believe me, you are not alone. As one engineer noted on daily.dev, evaluating AI outputs is just genuinely hard. You can't rely on binary pass-or-fail unit tests anymore, because feeding an AI the exact same input might yield two different, yet both technically correct, answers. You have to measure accuracy, relevance, consistency, and safety, all at the same time. And once you finally figure out how to evaluate it, you've got to scale it. This is where machine learning collides with distributed systems. You have to rigorously optimize for latency so your users aren't left staring at a loading screen. You have to tightly manage token costs so you don't blow your entire budget overnight. Plus, you need deep observability to track the AI's actual thought processes, and you absolutely need rock-solid fallbacks for when external APIs inevitably fail.
Okay, picture this. You've nailed RAG, you've evaluated your outputs perfectly, and you've deployed a flawless, autonomous AI agent, all while sipping coffee from your remote cabin in the woods. Sounds like the ultimate 2026 tech dream, doesn't it? Well, did you realize you might have just triggered a massive corporate tax liability for your employer?
And that brings us to the operational gotcha of the year, Section 4, the remote work tax trap.
You could have perfect technical execution, but it can get completely derailed by state and local tax compliance. We need to talk about nexus. In tax law, nexus is basically the legal hook that subjects a business to a state's taxes. Ever since the Telebrite case proved that just one single remote developer working from New Jersey could trigger a corporate tax nexus for an out-of-state company, work from anywhere has become a massive logistical nightmare. That cabin in the woods, it might have just opened up a brand new tax jurisdiction for your company.
So let's unpack how states are handling this mess in Section 5. Interstate tax rules explained.
You absolutely have to watch out for states enforcing what's called the convenience of the employer test. New York is notoriously aggressive here, but Delaware, Nebraska, and Pennsylvania follow the same logic. Under this rule, if you're officially linked to an office in one of these states, but you choose to work remotely in another state just for your own convenience, you might still owe income tax to that office's state. It is hugely controversial. Just look at the ongoing Zelensky litigation in New York, but it is a massive compliance trap for both you and your HR department right now.
And then there's the West Coast. California is aggressively chipping away at long-standing business tax shields under Public Law 86272. If your out-of-state company relies on those protections, but you've got a remote worker sitting in California, or even if your website is just highly interactive in the state, California might argue you've completely lost that tax shield. This just goes to show why knowing the exact physical location of your remote workforce is absolutely mission-critical today.
All right, let's bring the tech and the operations together. Section 6, the 2026 Survival Roadmap.
For the technical side, here is your 12-month game plan to evolve from a traditional coder to an AI system architect. Spend months 1 through 3 nailing down context and RAG so your models are actually aware. Then, months 4 through 6, shift your focus to AI agents to build out autonomous action. Dedicate months 7 through 9 strictly to evaluation. This is how you build trust in your systems. And finally, wrap up the year mastering deployment and scale.
Meanwhile, on the operational side, you've got to cover your bases with these 3 steps. Number 1, inventory exactly where all your employees are physically located right this second. Number 2, review and update your state-by-state HR policies so you know which states to avoid for tax reasons. And number 3, track temporary remote work travel very carefully, because even a month-long working vacation can trigger unexpected multi-state withholdings.
Getting a grip on this dual paradigm shift is exactly what separates the people who just survived 2026 from the ones who actually architect the future. You've got the blueprint now to build incredibly intelligent systems while dodging the remote tax trap. So the real question to ask yourself is your company's HR policy going to break your engineering roadmap before you even write your first line of autonomous code? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.